Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Chasing the Tide, your saltwater connection on the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. I'm your host, Dustin Nichols, and I don't really have much for you tonight. I had a guest cancel, and I'm on the road. I'm currently in the upper portion of Alabama on the way to the Jackson Kayak factory, and have one of our brethren from the P&F family going to join me. Brad Hurlebaus is going to join us tonight. What's going on, man?
Not much. Not much. Just another weeknight in Wisconsin. Like really jonesing for some open water on that water, like waterfall. See, all my hunting season's done, so I'm in the blues there, and I can't get into ice
Yeah, no
fishing, so
doubt.
I'm really jonesing just for some open water.
Yeah, we have it's our last weekend of the second half of duck season coming up, and my buddy invited me to go shoot some birds the other morning, but I decided not to go, so I kind of missed out.
I'd have been all on it. I've got a couple buddies down in Texas that keep messaging me. They're like, "Come down this weekend. Come down this weekend." I'm like, they're like, "All you gotta do is jump on a plane. We got everything you need." I'm like, "I know, but it's the getting out of work early enough to make it worth my time."
Right, right. It's probably pretty close to some of the areas that I frequent. Um, Seadrift, Port Connor, Matagorda Bay systems, and all that down there. It's been pretty good this year. Um, and then we have a buddy that owns a fish farm, so it's got a bunch of like 1.5 acre little ponds with levees around them, and you can walk in between the levees and just like walk up, and they'll shoot flush them, and then you'll bam bam bam, and then the ones that didn't fly, they dive. So you reload, and when they fly, then you're like bam bam bam. Okay, I'm done. It takes all the fun out of it,
Nice.
but still, or he's
Almost
got
like
a
fish in a barrel.
he's got a yeah, it is. He's got a permit to kill those dang cormorants too, so you can go out there and smoke them things because
Oh,
they eat
that's a
all his
huge
fish.
topic up here. So, I mean, I was just up there. I was just up on Punisher Waterfalls podcast, country guys out of Canada. Dave's on the new canoe team with me, and we were chatting, and they're able to shoot those up there, and that's a huge thing. And like, especially in like the Bay of Green Bay up in Wisconsin here, they're just destroying everything. Like, because they're like their feces is so acidic it kills the trees. So you look at the
Yeah,
islands
kills the
out, like
trees.
the islands out there, it's just dead.
Especially and they like come in groves. I mean, just flocks of them, and then they eat. They have to eat a lot of fish too, and they can
I
decimate some of the fish population for sure. Bigger
I can't
population than we
imagine
can.
what they eat. Like pelicans when pelicans come through. Oh boy, man! Like like I've seen pelicans hit a lake and legitimately the panfish population has like been like, whew.
Oh yeah, y'all get an influx. Y'all get some of them up there every now and then. Some pelicans make their way inland that far.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
That's
They'll come
pretty
all the way in.
crazy.
Yeah, because they come off the Mississippi River, and like if we
Right.
get a good west wind, it'll blow them inland, and we'll have random pelicans. Like I'll be out duck hunting like in fall when they're migrating, and all of a sudden you'll see huge flocks of swans or pelicans, or like, whoa, like you're off track. You're a little lost right now, bud.
Yeah, as long as you don't see no pink ones, no flamingos popping up in there, or them spoon. We get the spoonbills down here because people, man, I saw a flamingo. No, no, you didn't.
So we have it's all over the papers, and like every paper has articles. There's a mandarin duck on Lake Michigan right now, and that's Eastern
What?
European.
Yeah, that
Odds
one's
are,
like yeah.
odds are it's someone's pet that got loose, to be honest, because you can buy them, like you can breed them. Like odds are it's a pet that
Right.
got loose somewhere from a farm or something like that. But everybody's losing their mind because there's a mandarin duck hanging out on the shoreline of Lake Michigan. I think it's in Milwaukee. I think, or maybe it's north of Milwaukee. But yeah,
Well, that's the thing down here. We get an influx of the Eurasian ringneck doves,
okay,
and there's no limit on them because they're not indigenous.
sure.
So you can have white wing and just regular dove season going on, and then you can crack a bunch of them ringnecks. There's no no bag limit on those. They still make mighty nice dove wraps too.
I was gonna say dove wraps, shish kebabs, what like yeah, I'm sure they eat
Hmm.
well.
Yeah. See, that's what we like. Our divers down here, well, especially the ones from the fish ponds that eat the fish food, they're actually
I
pretty
mean,
tasty, you know?
so that's surprising because like every time, all the other than like sausage, divers not like I will not shoot them. Like if I'm like I'll go out on a diver hunt and I got buddies that are all set up to go to Lake Michigan open water diver hunt and like we'll go miles out like in little layout boats and whatnot and it's kind of nuts. It's a good time and we'll make sausage.
Yeah.
But like if I'm inland hunting and some divers come through, unless I got a dog with me that needs retrieves because they're bored, they're gonna keep on flying because
Yeah.
I'm not just gonna cook it like I'm not. If I'm gonna eat
I like the
fish, I'm gonna
little
eat
ruddies. They're
fish.
kind of hardy. They're little stout birds. They got good, like, little stout little breasts on them. Pull them off. And I like cut a little pouch in them and stuff it with boudin and wrap them in bacon and smoke them on the smoker, dude.
That might be tasty. I haven't had that.
Dang good. Yeah, and then we like the spoonies and the like the redheads. Like we the teal. The teal actually eats better than the others for sure. But yeah, we'll butterfly them and I'll soak them in like a spicy buttermilk and then batter them in just a seasoned flour and fry them and then make a like onions and jalapenos and make like a jalapeno gravy to put over them. And have like mashed
Sure.
potatoes and some like green beans and some different things and make some wraps out of them. And one of my favorites we done was a sweet and sour uh,
That'd be good.
duck wrap with bacon, pineapple, and wrapped and it had a green bell pepper and the duck breast, and I grilled it and then brushed it with sweet and sour. It was like a kebab style stuff. Had little chunks on there. It's pretty dang tasty. Now that one's pretty
That'd
good.
be that'd be tasty. I've also done like duck parm. So pound it flat, bread it,
Yeah,
fry it like you would chicken parmesan, throw it over some noodles. That's real good too. Like that's a
that's
real
pretty
good way to
good
eat
with
it.
pheasant too.
Oh yeah.
We had some pheasant like that. It's pretty tasty. Yeah, we're a little off topic from the saltwater side of fishing tonight, but hey, it is what it is. We gonna expose y'all to some other stuff going on. But yeah, definitely where Brad's at up there. He's in some beautiful country, and I'm looking forward to coming up there this year. Uh, I know I'm gonna make the Bassmaster event up there on the Mississippi.
That's gonna be a fun event. That's an awesome area. That's
Yeah,
really a good
seven
area
eight
to
nine
fish.
pool 789 on the Mississippi out of La Crosse there. Beautiful country up there. That time of year, frog fishing. You're gonna
Oh yeah.
top water, frog. In the grass, power fishing, and there's some nice smallmouth up there too, though. So I'm excited about all of it. Just to experience it. I'm gonna try to at least get 4 or 5 days up there, get a good pre-fish in, and hopefully have a good tournament. So
That
yeah, that
that
should be
that
fun.
that area always shows out well. It really does. There's really good fishing in there. I'll be there in 2 weeks for panfish because like they have jumbo perch.
Like the hand size, like big
Yeah,
bluegill
like
and or
yeah,
yellow perch.
yellow. Yeah, yellow, just big old like yeah. So you get out there and you
Ooh,
get on them, man. Like, and we're allowed 25 a day. You get out there and you
ooh.
get on there. Like I normally don't take a full limit just because that's a lot of fish for me. Like, but I'll like
Yeah,
keep 10, 15 of them. That's a couple meals for the wife and I, and they eat well.
that's how
That's
the
like
white bass are here. Well, they should be like this next full moon coming up, especially with the rains we're getting. They'll start pushing up into the little tributary creeks and everything off of the lakes and everything, and it'll start turning on, and you get 25 of those, and hell, some of them you'll get that are 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds. You get some pretty fillets on them, and fry them up that day with some homemade tartar and some good old cocktail sauce, and make some cheese and garlic grits and some hush puppies. Ooh, ooh,
there you go,
homemade French
there you
fries.
go.
See, we all talking food tonight, man.
Exactly. There's nothing
And
wrong with
that's
that.
why? Because I'm hungry. Because I haven't had
Same.
anything since Louisiana when I got some smoked boudin and some cracklings.
I was talking right before we jumped on. I'm like, oh, I should have cooked dinner. I'm like, I don't have time. I'm like, let me know what you want. Like, it's either frozen enchiladas or frozen chicken chicken stir fry. It's one or the other tonight. Like, there's no time to make anything else after this. So,
It's not the frozen enchiladas from the grocery store, like like the
Oh, these are
what
from
is that
Costco. These
brand?
are not real.
Oh,
Like
the
these are
the
from
Costco. No,
Costco.
those aren't bad though. Those aren't bad.
I
It's
haven't had
like
them.
Sam's has some too. They're not horrible, but
All
yeah,
right.
yeah, they're
All
not
right.
too
Hopefully
bad.
they're good. No, like they like they're in their own individual trays and they have sauce. Like they look good. We
Yeah,
haven't tried them yet, so we'll see.
no, it's not like the whatever brand that's in like the freezer section. That's like in the
No.
cardboard little box, the Stofers or the other
No,
whatever
no.
the
Those
a
250
la
calorie
Jose
frozen
or
meals.
whatever they
Yeah.
are. I don't know. Yeah, because
The
we got
Michaels
some
or
pretty
whatever they
good.
are.
Yeah, we got some pretty good Mexican joints over in Texas. Get kind of spoiled on our Mexican
I got
restaurants
spo-
down there.
I got spoiled on that when I was living in California. I worked at an
Yeah.
upholstery shop for 6 months, and I worked with a lot of people who actually came from Mexico, and they're like that was a huge culture shock to me, just how much they share. Like they all would
Mm-hmm.
come in and they'd bring in extra food and they'd always share. And I was riding a motorcycle back and forth to work. There was no like me bringing extra food in. So like occasionally
Right.
I'd buy them lunch like off the food truck or something, like be like here, like I can't bring it, but I'll buy it.
Yeah,
But like
yeah.
they would share their food and be like, here, have this or have that. And like it was
It's
amazing.
so
Like
good.
it was so good. Like nothing's ever compared. Like that was traditional home cooked. And it's like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
like nothing compares.
That was me like when, you know, being working as a chef like before my job I'm at now. Um, and then being a waterman and being and going on surf trips to Central America and into Baja and everything. I was always if they were cooking, I was in the kitchen. I was checking everything out and figuring it out. And then I'd share some stuff that I know with them, and then we, always had fun getting in the kitchens at the surf camps, and we most of the time we ended up like getting like hooked up. The next time we got like the bro deal and stuff. And like, let
Sure.
Dustin get back in the kitchen and roll some sushi. Yeah, because I taught some of the guys in Nicaragua how to roll some sushi at one of the camps down there. My buddy Lance has a surf camp down there, Safari Charters, and he run a top notch gig down there with fishing and everything's included. I mean, we caught wahoo down there. We caught dorado. We caught yellowfin tuna, rooster
Oh,
fish, grouper, snapper. Everything.
everything.
Occasional sailfish and marlin, and yeah, out of a
Wow.
26-foot ponga, super ponga, and then you take the boat to all the surf breaks too. So yeah, the waves are
It's on my
flat. You went
list.
fishing. Yeah, it was,
Like my salt
Nicaragua's
experience,
sick.
my salt experience is super limited. Red, trout,
Yeah.
ladyfish. Caught a whole handful of ladyfish when I was out there kayak fishing by myself once. Like this isn't what I'm looking for, but I'm catching fish, right? Because that was the
Right.
second time
Right.
I'd ever fished salt. I'm like, hey, I'm figuring something out. I'm at least catching fish. But there's a lot of fish that I have not caught on the salt, and I just need to get to the coast more. And the hard part is like I'm nowhere near the coast.
Right. Yeah, you're 18 hours away, probably, give or take, to come to where I'm at in Texas. Be about 18 hours. I was looking at it on the map. So, yeah, it's going to be a pretty good haul getting up there to that tournament. Yeah, definitely going to be still not as bad as last year when I went to Connecticut. Woo, man.
Whew, that's a
Talking about a
hike.
haul by yourself. Yeah, it was like, I can't even remember how far it was. It was like 27 hours, 28 hours. I didn't do it
That's
in all
long. I
one.
mean,
Yeah, I stopped and got hotels. I'm not. I didn't sleep in my truck. I'm over that. You see, tonight I'm uh, in the in the Birmingham, Hoover, whatever, Alabama microtel. I was like, where's one that's got decent? I mean, they had decent reviews and it was like cheaper. So I was like, I'm getting that one. That's fine. I can sleep on a freaking box. It's all good.
yeah, sleeping in the truck gets tough. I know the last time I pushed it hard to get to Florida, I made it south of Tennessee, like made it south of Nashville, which that's a little like I left after work, of course, so you're already tired when you leave work. And then I drove
Sure.
into like
Yeah.
2 in the morning until I could find 2 or 3 in the morning until I finally found a restaurant that had a spot where I could park. And then you sleep for 3 or 4 hours and it's terrible sleep. I left my back seat
Yeah.
open so I could curl up and it still wasn't comfortable. And by the time I got there, it's like that whole like yeah, I pushed super hard to get there, but like I was so exhausted I couldn't do anything if I wanted to. Like it
Yeah.
just didn't
I'll
seem
do
like
it on the
by
way
the
back, and it's gonna suck because I'm going to pick up, kayaks, and then I'm gonna have lunch with some of the crew from the factory there, and then I'm gonna get right back on the road and go. So then I'm gonna push it, and then I'm gonna sleep about 2-3 hours, and I'm gonna drive the rest of the way because Thursday is my daughter's birthday.
Oh.
My wife was like, if you do not make it to her birthday dinner, there's gonna be papers on your side of the bed. You might not like those. No, she was kidding, but yeah, you know, yeah, one of them deals. You know, it's just like this is about my only shot right now that I'm gonna have a chance to get over there, and it's so much cheaper to go pick them up
Sure.
than to have them shipped. You know, even going to a dealer is, even freight costs are through the roof right now. You know, it's pretty dang
They
expensive.
are, and unless it's a dedicated truck,
Right.
there's just such a high risk of things getting damaged. And I mean, I work with freight companies all the time. Like that's part of what I do for like my job. And I get it.
Yeah.
Accidents happen, everything else, and they're very hard to handle for them. I get all that, but the risk is so high. I won't ship a boat. I won't do it. I will order from a local dealer and make sure it
Hmm.
gets on a dedicated truck, or I'll go to the factory myself and pick it up. Like I
Yeah.
just
See, and
won't
it
do
can
it.
like if I was to have it shipped to like a dealer there, that it went with their order, like you said, on
Sure.
a dedicated truck, a truckload. It'd be different, because they would have loaded it at the factory, and
Exactly.
and they have their own rig. They just pay the guy to drag it. They pay
Right.
the lightweight, light whatever they call it. We used to call it light engine on the railroad. He just goes and hooks up to the trailer and drags it. He don't load it or do any of that. So yeah, it's loaded at the factory by the guys there, and they take care of it. Pretty cool. Yeah, it's good to get to the factory. You get to get in there, and I get to go check some stuff around. Um, Maybe film a little bit. Get some stuff for some social media, some content. Of some guys doing some stuff for the boats, building them, and trimming and different things. Just can't give too much away, but get
Right.
some little
Right.
close ups of some stuff. It's pretty neat to go in there and get the whole tour. To see the
Agreed.
start to finish process is pretty neat.
Agreed. Absolutely. I mean, I remember when I went up to Dutchland where new canoes made. I mean, it was just cool to watch like the molding process and everything else and the assembly process. And
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Like it's some of the tricks and the jigs that they have when the molds go in, and how they like cool down spots and have spots get a little hotter than the others to get more. Yeah, there's some cool stuff that goes on in it, for
agreed.
sure. Yeah, it's
There's
pretty
science
neat.
behind it. There's definitely
Yeah, there
science
definitely
behind
is.
it.
It's definitely
And it,
there's some stuff going on. Not just your average person's not going to
right,
build
right.
a mold and build the ovens that they bake them in and stuff too. It's like
Yeah.
full on gigantic.
Well, think we got to fit a 13-foot, and you get the
Yeah,
mold, everything else. That's a
and they
big
got to
oven,
spin and
right?
rotate and all that stuff because the plastic kind of melts and gets moved all around in there, and it's pretty
That's
cool.
crazy.
Pretty cool. So what else going on the rest of the year? What are you're gonna transition? You're gonna try to start. Hit the panfish up here coming up, and
Yeah, because it's ice. That's really when I focus on
yeah,
panfish. The only time I don't keep a lot of fish throughout like the summer. I keep most of my fish in winter, to be honest. Like
yeah,
they're a little firmer. They just eat better through that cold water, in my opinion.
true.
So I'll try to get some fish for the freezer. Looking for a big perch bite, hopefully on the Mississippi, and then I want to get some walleye as well. I'm a big fan of walleye.
I heard
Like
those
doing it
eat
like
pretty good
four-man
too.
lobster, like
Yeah.
just just butter in a pan in the oven, or I'll do walleye chowder. Oh, that's so
Oh
good,
yeah.
homemade walleye
Yeah.
chowder. Just because it's just that big, firm white meat. Like, so I want to try to get out and get after that. I mean, I almost took the boat out last weekend. The river by me is open by the dams and whatnot, so the walleye will start to stage up there even this early. So I almost did it, but everybody bailed on me, and I'm like, man, it's like 20
And is that
degrees
a deep
outside.
water tactics for walleye, like using downriggers and stuff, or are you using traditional rods with like jerk baits and deep, crankbaits and different things?
So for the river, let's for the ice, that's a lot of dead stick. I mean, where
Oh,
I'm
it's like,
at, where I'm at, it's setting a lot of like either tip downs with open reels or tip ups, or it's all dead stick tactics, and then with a live minnow. So it's all
Okay.
live bait and all,
Live
all
bait.
live bait. Basically, it's bobber fishing through the ice. I don't know how to
Okay.
describe it. Like that's
Cool.
like bobber fishing through the ice. For the river, though, it's vertical jigging.
Vertical jigging. Yeah, with those they like have a one treble hook and they got little hook points on the nose and the tail. Like I've seen some rapalas and I know the smallmouth eat them too.
So yeah, so that's those are we use those a lot through the ice. Like, oh man, now that you said that, I can't remember what the heck that thing's called. That lure, um, the dart something darter.
Yeah, something like that.
But
They're kind
for
of cool looking.
for open water though on the rivers, I'm using a hair jig with a minnow,
Oh, oh, with
either
the
a full
tip with a
minnow or
minnow.
sometimes just a minnow head. And then what
Yeah.
a lot of times we'll do like a like we're allowed three hooks on a single line in Wisconsin. We're allowed three baits. That can be three individual lines or three baits on a single line. So you
Oh,
got to be real,
cool.
like, got to be kind of specific there. So sometimes with that vertical jig, and what times I'll do is depending on the river current, I might have a half to a 1 ounce jig or hair jig with a minnow head on it, like just a minnow head for like that cut bit, like that cut bait style, and then I'll go like a foot above it with just a regular hook on that
Yeah.
same line with a minnow, like straight through a minnow, like an entire minnow, right through the back of the head, like so that way there you're vertical jigging two baits. You got that hair jig bouncing off the bottom with that just chunk of minnow head, and then above it you got a full minnow.
Dang, pretty cool. So that's three baits on the same line, or three rods only with three
You're allowed
baits.
you're allowed three baits. So you can have one bait on up to three rods, right? One bait per
Right,
line,
or one
or
rod
you
with,
could,
yeah,
and it's not,
vice versa.
or
Yeah.
correct. So like if you're running an A rig up here, you're only allowed three hooks on that A rig.
Ah, that's something. Yeah, that's something you got to check on different,
Because that A
probably some
rig, like with
different
how it is on
states.
that wire, they consider each one an individual bait. Now,
Right.
like I've got musky lures that have three treble hooks on the same lure. That's one bait. That's not multiple baits. That's one bait. It's multiple hooks
Yeah,
on a
but the A
single
rig
bait.
is different jig heads.
A-
So yeah.
exactly. So they call that. So like I run a lot of those micro ones. I don't remember who makes those. So it's one jig basically, and then it's got three little hookless ones around it. Live
Yeah.
Target. I think Live
Live
Target
Target
makes
makes that
those.
one. That one's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had good success up here with that. But I know guys up here that use like full on A rigs. They just don't, they only have three hooks on it though. Like they'll use that
Yeah.
full big A rig and they'll only have three hooks on it. And they just hope that fish keeps hitting until it hits one with a
Right.
hook.
So I got the ones I used here are five jig heads with blades and everything else. And then what I've had really good results with are the top spin jig heads that they have out. Pretty cool.
Those are cool.
Then
I
little
haven't tried them
finesse,
yet. I've seen them,
little
but they're
small
cool.
MC swimmer, like a 2 3/4 inch little swim bait with that little top spin and along like a you know levee and dam with rocks and gravel. That's been pretty good. Yeah, I like that for sure. You planning to go to Dale Hollow?
I'm not going to make it to Dale unless I can figure out a way to sneak out like an extra vacation day somehow. My schedule is so tight this year. It's just not. I'd have to leave Thursday after work. I'd have to do what I did last year, which was one of those things. You know what I mean? Like you leave after work and then you drive. You get there at like 2 in the morning, and
Oh yeah.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
like you get. So I don't
And
know.
then you
At
get
this
3 hours
point,
of sleep, and then you wake up and rig everything up and go. Yeah. Yep.
last year I did that, and then I worked remote a couple of days. So like I drove there. I got there at like 1 in the morning. Of course, we drank some beer. Got to bed at like 2, and then I was up at 6 to go to work. Like setting up an office in the bedroom is what I did.
Yeah.
And I worked a couple days remote, and I mean I worked. It wasn't like I just like worked. There was like I legitimately worked. Like I was presenting to our leadership. Like Susie from like another one of our hosts, she's out there yelling at everybody, telling them to be quiet because she knows I am presenting to like our CEO and CFO of our company. And she's like,
Yeah.
"Would you guys stop? He's presenting." It was
Oh
awesome.
wow. Yeah, I
But
remember the first year we had the like a meetup, and then we had a smaller tournament. Um, I remember I left work at that evening after I got home from work, and I left, and I got there in the afternoon, and like straight to the water, or straight like mid morning straight to the water, and commenced to putting a smackdown on them with an underspin.
Nice.
And had a
Fishing
good
was tough
time.
last year. Fishing was tough. I think I caught a bass. I'd have to go back and look. Yeah, I did catch some bass. I did. I wound up in some big crappies though. Like I should have kept
Oh,
some. Like I wound
yeah,
up in some
Jimmy caught a
big
really like a
crappies.
15 incher.
I was in a
One
good
of the areas
school
I
of
was
like
in.
12. Like I didn't get over the 15, but I was catching consistent 12 to 13s. Like
Oh yeah,
consistent 12 to 13s. I'm like, here we go. Like I'm sitting there. I'm like, man, I should have a cooler with some ice because I should be bringing some of
yeah.
these back to the cabin. Is what I
Stringer,
should be
cooler.
doing.
That's a
Yeah.
have a good old fish fry. Yeah. No, I can't make it either this year. I can't. We start an outage at work on the 2nd of April, and I do have a redfish tournament on the 8th. I'm gonna try to get out. I have to fish it blind, but I think that time of year I kind of just by history I can go hit some spots and probably do okay. Just to get out of there. I mean, it's only like a 32-day long outage, so I don't think we're going to be too bad. Next year is the one I'm not looking forward to. The one for 2024 that doesn't
Oh,
seem
that's the
like it's
big
going to
one.
be fun. It's going to go like 80 days, I guarantee it.
Ooh.
And that's we get one day off every 14 days when we're working an outage. It sucks.
That's a
It's part of
lot.
it. Part
It's
of
part
that
of
plant life, man.
right, right.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they pay us well, and benefits are good, and all that. But man, I sure miss them fish. Well,
And were you working 12s?
the main
12s
thing
during that?
I mean, I miss the family too. I work shift work already. I go back and forth days and nights.
Sure.
So there's days when I'll take my daughter to school in the morning, and then I'll go see my wife at 3:30 and say hi, bye, and then go to work. It's one of them quick, peck and get out of there. But yeah, it's just the cool thing about where I work though is that I can fish right there. There's quite a few areas within 10 minutes I can be launched and on the water. So there's a lot of times I'll actually take my stuff with me to work and fish after a night shift. Because it
That's
is
cool.
it's about 44 miles from my house. So
All right.
it's a lot easier just to have the stuff with me and go than drive all the way home than drive all the way back. That's putting
Right.
all kind of extra miles and gas in your vehicle.
Yeah, if you're
So
already there,
it's
it makes
pretty
sense just
neat
to be
area. Yeah.
just makes sense to be loaded up, get right on the water afterwards, and it's a great way to de-stress after work too. I used to do that all
Oh
the time.
shoot,
Like
yeah.
when I didn't work, like now it's easier because now I work out of my house. So like where I sit right now for the podcast is where I sit 10 hours a day.
Yeah, yeah.
it's like I just haven't left work yet is really what it's like tonight. But I mean, I'll have everything ready to go. And like we have got weeknight kayak tournaments up here. So I'll just jump in the truck and I'll just take off right after work. And it's a great way to de-stress after a crappy day.
Oh, it is. Yeah, fishing is the therapy for me. It's my therapy for sure. You know, still get on that skateboard every now and then, go slash it up, take it out on the coping in the bowls. But man, the fishing just majority of the time I'm out there by myself. I got places in the marsh I can get away from the boats, can't get into it. Or I go in the middle of the night. Good full
Sure.
moon night, set up right. The bike windows. You got a major. When the moon's overhead and it's you know sometimes you just smash them and you're out there just having so much fun in the you know middle of the night, nobody else around. That's one of the cool things about here. There are areas you can go find and get away from some crowds, especially with a kayak. That's one thing we always preached on the show and with paddle and fin is just you know the ease of access. I know we say that all the time, but it is there's plenty of places you can just slide off down the bank, and ease on out
Agreed.
there.
I mean, from
That's what
fishing to
makes it
hunting to
special.
all of it. I mean,
The
you don't
hunting
need a
side
boat
of it
ramp.
too.
You don't need a boat launch.
Yeah, you don't
Like
need even
that's
a ramp. You found a little levee you can pop off of, a little
right.
bulkhead, slide in anywhere. Anywhere that
I mean,
water
we
is
know
coming up to public easement, you can jump in and go.
exactly. I
And
mean,
that's the
tons
cool
of
thing
bridges
about
by
duck
me to hit
hunting out of
rivers.
the kayak. you know, rig up some some palmetto, some palm fronds around your kayak, and head on out there into the marsh and set up, a little couple dozen decoys, and you
Doesn't
can
take
wade
much,
out there. That's the thing. You find the spots that have the harder bottom, and you can wade out there and set them up yourself. You don't even need a dog. You can go by yourself
right?
and lay down in your kayak and pop up, bam, bam, bam. You
See,
actually
I
gonna
mean, I
have one
wouldn't
of
say
my
it's easy.
my buddies.
Never easy.
It's
Duck
not
hunting's
easy, but
never
yeah.
easy. It's always work, right? Like, but
No, there's work.
it's not. I mean, when you're getting out to those places where you don't get all that pressure and the birds are more relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same as fishing. Like, it's just
Yeah.
like it's easier, right? Like, it's less like you're not fighting all that high pressured area. Like the fish bite better, the birds work better. It's all like that's what kayaks open up because,
Well, yeah.
or
At times, though, on the duck side of things, we do have a lot of airboats that burn around in the backwaters
sure,
too, and they can wreak some havoc for sure.
that's my
Those little.
midlife crisis purchase. I've already told my wife at 45, 5 years.
Oh man, yeah,
Because I got the kayaks. I
I
love
don't.
kayaks. I do all my fishing out of a
Yeah,
kayaks, but I've also got an 18-foot mud boat. I mean, I run a surface drive on
yeah,
a mud boat because I do a lot with taking veterans and whatnot out hunting. So I got to have a boat where I can like control things a little bit easier and make things a little bit safer and stuff like
true.
that. So I mean, but I'm joking like this last year. I mean, I was joking with why I'm like, because we do a ton on a river by us, which is all sandy bottoms, and I can run it in my boat. It's not a problem, but an airboat opens up even so much more. And I was
Right.
joking with the wife. I'm like, this is my midlife crisis purchase, and it's kind of started going from joking to like I've seriously been looking and planning at this point. So
Right.
I
Right.
think it's actually going to happen.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Yeah, they definitely can get you places for sure. Way they slide. It like yeah.
Oh yeah,
There's some pretty neat ones out there on all souped up, and I know my buddy has one that they duck hunt out of, and they're pretty cool. I just don't like when they blow the freaking spots away.
I get that completely. Like I feel like that's one thing that's like being a kayak angler for so long. I feel like I'm more respectful, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like, and I'm not saying everybody with an airboat is disrespectful. Like, don't go there because that's not what I'm saying by any means.
Right. Right.
But I
True.
mean, I remember kayak fishing down on one of the rivers in Salt River in Florida, and like an airboat like went right over land and all this other stuff. And the guides, and it's a protected area, and the guide's like, I'm with, because I didn't bring my stuff, so I used a guide.
Yeah.
Shed Kayak Charters guy was cool, like awesome dude. Like he really went above and beyond on a really tough bite day for me. Like
Oh,
we want
cool.
to like I booked half a day and we fished for like 11 hours because he's like, no, like the bite was just a tough day. Like, and it
Yeah.
wasn't him. It was a tough day. It's one of those days where fish
It
just,
happens.
and I caught fish, but not a lot. And I'm like, and he's like, nope, he's like, can you stay? I'm like, yeah. And like
I'll
another
stick it
hour went
out.
by and another
Yeah.
hour went by. And he's like, you still good? I'm like, I'm still good. And he's like, so, I mean, like he went so above and beyond. So it's like, anyways, but when we were out there, it was a protected area. Like some of that was protected and like airboat like right over the top, and he's like those are on, and like you could see his frustration from it, and I totally
Mm-hmm.
get it.
Oh yeah. They do it, and they'll come through like just little small areas that you wouldn't think they'd be in, and then you gotta like be on the lookout for them, and then if it's foggy, you're like, where the hell is that noise coming from? And then
Right.
right up on you, and you're like, man, a good thing I got this bright light on and all that. And then that's another thing out here in Texas. I will say something about that you know I'm kind of fishing in some of the on the flats and some shallower stuff, but I try to stay a little closer to some of the spoils and all that when it is pretty foggy, and I don't push the envelope on that. But dude, you'll hear some boats wide ass open, and they're just running by GPS tracks, and I'm just like, dude, I can't. I don't know. I'd be too damn scared
I
to do
agree.
that in the boat.
I agree
I mean, yeah,
100%.
if you're
Like
on the water all the time and you know it, but you just never know what's going to be out there, what's going to be in the way. A
well, right,
log floating somewhere, or
another boat.
some kind of debris, another boat, something tied up, and yeah, I don't know. This is one of them things that scares me. Kind of
I mean, I
crazy.
run like that, like that's a big, I mean, especially early morning like in
Yeah.
October, we get a lot of fog. We get a lot of fog on the water, right? Get that big temperature variance at that time of year for us up here. And I'll run fast enough that I can run, if that makes sense. So like there's areas where it's shallow enough, I have to be at least be on plane to get through them. So I'll be on plane, but just fast enough.
Right.
But
Yeah, just
otherwise, like
enough
if
to
I don't,
get going and kind of cruise
right,
through. Yeah.
right, like I mean, I've got good lights, I've got GPS, and I've even started to bring. I've got a handheld thermal scanner because I do predator hunting as well. I started
Right.
bringing that with, like a thermal, like mine's cheap, like but good thermals, like it like fog plays like fog isn't easy on them, but it's way better than any sort of light you could use.
Dude, I know like sometimes I'll even in low light conditions with fog, I'll still have my polarized glasses on because it cuts through that glare and then you can see even better. You can make out
Right?
more shapes and silhouettes with it with your sunglasses, even though it's lower light conditions and it helps. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you
just
probably got to be careful with those
fogs
big.
is crazy at times. Yeah.
You got to be careful you don't hit some of them big torpedoes on the back of your boat.
Oh. Yeah, that 1103 and move them. I'm excited to put it on the Kusa X. I'm picking up one of those. I'm getting another U pick and then a Kusa X, her new river boat. But I'm gonna use it in the marsh. It's got good volume. It's got a good draft. It floats real well. Um, and it just looks like it's gonna be fun just to paddle around in the marsh, in the back lakes and stuff. So be able to stand up and push it around and everything should be fun. Sight casting redfish out of. So just something else to try.
It's
Get out
always
there
fun to
with it.
jump in different models, man. Like I love it.
Oh
Like I
yeah,
love trying different stuff all the time.
yeah, no doubt, for sure, man. Well, dude, my stomach is about to just take off on me, but yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on. You want to tell everybody out there on chasing the tide land out there? Give them a little info about your show on the
Yeah,
PNF network.
absolutely. So I'm a bi-weekly show. I'm the Saturday right before Dustin here's pops off. So it's feather and fur, really hunting focused. Mainly, a lot of my focus is birds and bird dogs because that's what I'm super passionate about. But we also make it out west for elk and moose and all of Canada. So we really expand the horizons there and really talk everything from archery to gun hunting to birds to dogs, dog training, boat maintenance. If anybody wants to jump on the show that knows how to do off-road recovery, I'd love to do a self-recovery show. So if you know, like, throw me a message. It's something I'm looking to do actually. And then, yeah, I mean, so I'm the host of that, and I'm on the Rocktown fishing team. I'm on the new canoe team. I do a lot with Wisconsin Hero Outdoors. It's a nonprofit in Wisconsin. We take veterans and first responders out fishing, and we get them out in the outdoors in other ways as well as a way to like refocus their energy. And I'm the South Central project coordinator for them. And that's about it, man. Like that's what I do. It's either
Sweet.
I'm out hunting fishing myself or I'm mentoring people how to do it themselves so they can keep on doing it.
Shoot, yeah, man. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh, yeah. Good thing, good deal out there. With the getting the veterans on the water. It's something similar to our in the kayak side, the heroes on the water type thing we have.
So
Um,
we started there and then we decided we wanted to go a little bit farther off and we branched off and we had a Heroes on the Water chapter. That's where I first got started
yeah,
in doing what we're doing. And we just wanted to do more than just kayaking because Heroes on the Water is amazing. Like they're an amazing
yeah,
organization and how they've grown and everything else and what they do for veterans is amazing and first responders. But it's kayak only. And when you're in
yeah.
Wisconsin
You
and
wanted
you
to
only get
expand it
6
in the off
months,
season. Yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah, for
we
sure.
wanted to be able to do more like ice fishing events. We do snowshoeing, we do cross country skiing, we do all these
Dude, that's
different things.
awesome.
Yeah, so it's not just hunting and fishing. Like it's really just out and outdoors and ways to like just to get out there and like slow it down.
Yep.
Is really what
Yeah.
it
So
is. That's
yep.
yeah.
Even when it's like chunk tundra out there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Clothes layers are your friend.
You know, like I do a lot of snowshoeing and cross country skiing, and I've hosted events like that. I mean, if it's 20 degrees out, I'm dressed way lighter than, there's no jacket, there's no snow pants, there's none of that because you're moving. Like
Yeah, because you're gonna
you're
like
moving,
that's how when I'm snowboarding too. Like it'd be,
right?
8 degrees on the mountain, and after 3 runs, I'm like, dude, I'm shedding it, and I just got just a sweatshirt and a light jacket on. as long as it don't
Right.
get wet. You get that wet snow and then you kind of get cold again. But yeah, I feel you on that because it'll be, you know, they make fun of me at where my wife teaches. They're like, oh, it's freezing. It's 32 out there, and Dustin's in a hoodie and a shorts. That's
That's
pretty much that's what
hilarious.
I got on right now, like for real. A hoodie,
Nice.
shorts. It's like 52. Yeah. Or a t-shirt. Like right, I could wear a t-shirt like right now, not a problem. But yeah, hoodie and shorts down to in the 20s. It was in like mid 20s. Hoodie and shorts. Yep, there's Dustin.
Nice. Nice.
Oh man, but yeah, it was a change of pace tonight. I'm out on the road. Heading over to Jackson, pick up some new boats, and I brought the laptop, do the episode on the road, and then I had some issues with some scheduling, and got old Brad bailed me out. Appreciate it, man.
It's fun, man. It's
At least we
fun.
got a show
Talking
this
food. I
week,
mean, talk food. I mean,
Oh
you can't
yeah,
go wrong
yeah.
just talking food.
Oh yeah. I might need to start doing like a segment recipe.
Oh, there you go. That's a cool little twist.
I think I might have to start doing that. Or actually, yeah. Yeah, I think we can do that. I think we might have to go live one night when I'm cooking. Have it all prepped
Ooh,
and ready to go.
it's always fun to go live occasionally. From Grouse Camp this past year, we went live.
Yeah. I like the
It
lives.
was a
I
good
do.
time.
We don't have to do some of them again. I bombarded the OG show last week on Thursday. I jumped in there on
Nice.
them and pulled Jay's chain a little bit.
Someone's got to get them talking.
I know, right? Someone's got to get in there. And like I said, Brian was like, "Oh, I'll have old Dustin." And he run his mouth and talk the damn paint off the wall. That's my whole spiel right there. But yeah, we're gonna wrap this up, man. I'm gonna go get some food and a cold beer and sleep
Appreciate you having
well.
me on.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on, man. We're gonna roll this outro. Stick around, and we'll see y'all next time on Chasing the Tide.